working with breaks in Word, including section breaks and column breaks. When you first want to edit a document, you know that you should turn on the Show Hide command that is in the paragraph group located on the Home tab. And why I say you should turn it on is so that you can see any of the break codes that are on your screen, in other words, in your file. I know I have a blank document in view, and by turning on the Show Hide command, I can see the only paragraph I have in this file. This is my paragraph return code, and indeed every time I press enter, I am creating a new paragraph. So pressing enter creates a paragraph break, and you've learned that years ago when you were playing around in Word. Suppose I want to now create a page break. So from this point, I actually want to have a new page be created. Control Enter creates for me a whole new page. So at the bottom of my status bar, in the left-hand portion of it, you can see I'm on page 2. And if I scroll up here, you'll notice I've got a page break code that's in view because I have my Show Hide command turned on. In this file, I'm going to turn on the Show Hide command, so you can see I have a number of paragraphs in this file, and I've got 2 pages in total. If I want, I could start this paragraph on a whole new page, and the rest of the content will be following. Control Enter, and now I've got that content started on this new page, and the rest of the information is on this first page. Suppose on the other hand though, I want to have this second page be, let's say, landscape instead of portrait, and the first page still remain as portrait. Well, you can't create one file document that's both portrait and landscape unless you create section breaks. So what I'm going to do here now is take us to the area where it gives us those breaks for section breaks and also page breaks. I go to the Page Layout tab on the ribbon, and in the Page Setup group, you can see the Breaks command. When I click, it offers up a page break area and a section breaks area. I'm going to choose Next Page, and when I click, you can see that this new page houses the information where my cursor is. But how can you tell what section I'm in? My status bar by default does not display section, how many sections or what section you're currently in. What I need to do is customize my status bar. So when I right click on the status bar, I locate my section choice here, and I turn it on by clicking. And once I've done that, you can see that I'm in section 2 and I'm in page 2. I'll just undo, and we're going to do this again. And when I've undone, you can see that I've got just one section, and when I actually go all the way to the bottom of my file and I use a Control End, I have only one section in this entire file. Back to this position, I'm going to go to Breaks, and this time instead of choose Next Page for section break, so not only will I get a section break, I'll have a new page, but I'm going to choose Continuous. So I'm going to get a whole new section break, but I will be contained on the same page with that new section. So as soon as I've done that, you can see the code section break continuous comes up. I've got a section 2, but I'm still on page 1. If I want at this point, I can change the number of, let's say, columns or other kinds of choices, but I will not be able to change on one page, even if there's 2 section breaks, the orientation, so that the top portion, let's say, is portrait and the bottom portion is landscape. You always need to have a section break page to have 2 different kinds of orientation in your file. So why don't we do that, because we were talking about that to start off with. So I just undid, go back to break, next page, and now I've got a new page, section 2. I'm going to change my new section to landscape, Notice I didn't have to select any text, and indeed all the way to the bottom of the file from this point on is that second section, and it is all landscape, and the top portion is portrait. Let me undo again and yet again so that now we're back to what we were before. If I want though, I could choose breaks, continuous, and have the top portion be one column and the bottom portion, which is my section 2, be 2 columns. So I'll stay in the section 2, in the page setup group. I'll go to columns this time, choose 2, and now you can see first section, 1 column, second section, 2 columns. To quickly review, when you want to have a file that contains, let's say, 2 types of orientation, you must create section breaks. So within each of those sections, you can have different orientation or different margin size or even size for your page and so on. When you have a section break, you are thinking about it's either continuous or page, and we just discovered that there are some limitations to continuous section break. You can't have 2 orientations on one page no matter what. It has to be a section break page in order for you to have, of course, a split in the page, so that one page could be portrait and the second page or pages in that section could be landscape. So to do a little bit of a review of breaks, I know you know that when you press enter, you create a paragraph. And the only way you can see how many paragraphs you have in a file is if you have the show hide command turned on. If you want, you can create a line break. And this is something we haven't discussed yet in this module. Suppose I want to break the line right here. You know I have 5 lines in this one paragraph. If I choose Shift Enter, it's going to break this line and start it off at this new position. I still only have one paragraph here with these now 6 lines, but I have split up this line so I can start this new sentence on a whole new line. Paragraph break is Enter. Line break is Shift Enter. Page break, remember, is Control Enter. And if I go back over here to this file that has some columns, suppose I want to break the column here at this point, and these words are now going to be placed over here. The keyboard shortcut for column break is Control Shift Enter. And so then it places that information in the next new column, and the rest of the content follows. So Enter, Shift Enter, Control Enter, and Control Shift Enter all perform different actions, but they are all different types of breaks.